Alright guys, tell me if this sounds familiar. You find the girl of your dreams, you go on a date, you seal the deal, and then the next thing you know, she's kidnapped and held hostage. I think we've all been there before. And that is exactly what happened to our friend Nate in the film Novocaine that I just got done watching. And while most of us can relate to this premise, the one thing we probably don't relate with is the fact that he can feel no physical pain. And so while this knight in shining armor feels indestructible, he's actually operating with 0% shield. Now, his issues aside, the good news for moviegoers is this movie's operating at 100% entertainment. Let's talk about Novocaine in a spoiler-free review. Before I talk about the unbridled violence in Novocaine, if you wouldn't mind just uppercutting the subscribe and throwing an elbow on the notification bell, that way these videos show up right in your feed in the future. And you won't feel a thing. Alright, it's painless. What do we have here, friends? It's an R-rated, hour and 50-minute film featuring Jack Quaid as the lead protagonist, who's kind of a mamby-pamby simp for a chick he just met. This sounds familiar to a different role he plays on The Boys, because it's the same role he plays on The Boys. If you're not familiar with that series, which is very enjoyable, then maybe you won't be sick of this whole shtick, but as someone who's watched all of that series, this whole act might be running a little thin. Jack's character's only socialization is going to his job at the bank, but he doesn't head to the after-hours parties. He really does not get out at all because he was raised in an environment of fear for his own safety. Because he has a rare condition where he feels no pain, that means he could die at any moment and not even realize it's happening. This dude is so paranoid he won't even eat solid foods in fear that he will bite off his own tongue and choke on it. But eventually he will come out of his shell and out of his comfort zone when he meets the girl of his dreams. Suddenly, he's like a predator stalking his prey. Which honestly was just a really pathetic way for me to segue into the fact that Amber Midthunder is the girl of his dreams. She was in the film Prey. Was it worth it? Let me work it. I pretty much gave you the entire plot of this film in the opener, and I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. I'll just say this, the majority of the film is going to see Nate going after the bad guys that stole his girl, which will obviously lead to some really fun action sequences, where the director can have fun playing with the idea that this guy can't feel pain. This guy's gonna get burned, he's gonna get shot, he's gonna break limbs, he's gonna be tortured, all the while feeling absolutely nothing at all. He's basically my high school girlfriend. It's gotta let it go, Adam. It was so long ago. She can't hurt you now. Novocaine's gonna utilize that R rating quite a bit. There are some pretty intense graphic scenes where nails are getting pulled out and bones are coming out of bodies. It can be a bit much at times. I never had to turn away in disgust, like, or blow chunks on the person next to me, even though the theater was mostly empty and I chose to sit right next to someone to be really awkward. I'm joking, I didn't do that, but could you imagine? Pre-select my seat. Oh, where am I at? One other person in there. Oh, I'm right over here, G5, right next to G6, which, oh, hello. I can't wait to watch this film with you. Oh! Subscribe. I'm a movie critic. We're having fun. Now, all of this is sounding pretty good so far, but there are some issues, okay? There are some problems. Number one, we go back to Jack Quaid. Although likable, although it's certainly fine to watch on screen, the quipping he was doing when fighting guys felt like he was auditioning for a role as another Spider-Man. Which seems all the more convenient because Tom Holland's guy in the chair is in this movie, Jacob Batalon, as Roscoe. Another thing to throw on the negative end of things, not a deal breaker by any means, but the villains in this kind of suck. The main one is Simon, played by Ray Nicholson. He didn't really work for me. He comes off like one of those cheesy 90s action movie villains that are incredibly forgettable. They're very smarmy, they don't seem like real people in the real world, but instead these kind of caricatures of what a villain would sound and look like. The movie's got a good amount of humor. It's clearly not taking anything very seriously when the characters in the movie are just straight up ridiculous. Even the cops are so unbelievable by the end of the film, you just kind of look past it and say, all right, well, I'm here for the over-the-top action, some of the extreme violence, and some of the quips. Maybe not so much that last one. From a production standpoint, if the goal was to make us feel the pain that Nate isn't going through, it succeeds. The bone-cracking sound effects are on point. The effects work looks mostly practical. We have convincing makeup. What we don't have is convincing action scenes. I mean, I'm watching regular people get thrown into bricks and they're just like shrugging it off like nothing happened. I know that Novocaine, our boy Nate, doesn't feel pain, but everyone else in the film apparently is almost indestructible too. People are taking multiple gunshots and they're moving around like nothing is even happening. It's like, if you have one character that's a bit more out there and extreme, why are you making everyone else feel the same way? Minor quibbles aside, which is exactly what I'm giving right now, Novocaine was a fun time. It's not the greatest thing ever. I don't know if you need to rush out and watch it. You could probably wait for streaming and not really miss out on much. But heading out to the movies for a couple hours, plopping down your hard-earned coin, not too bad of an idea if you're looking for some entertainment. Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. All right, let me know if you saw this movie already. It's very fresh in theaters. In fact, I don't think it has a wide release until a week or so from now. I went to this one-day fan event. It was open to the public. Rest assured, I'm not special or important. In fact, I'm driving 3 hours tomorrow to go review a movie that's been out for 2 weeks, but is playing absolutely nowhere by me. And it's a 2.5-hour animated epic called Naza 2. And I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but this is what I do for the channel. This is the blood, sweat, and tears. And I can assure you, I feel every single moment of it. So again, if you wouldn't mind just tossing an elbow at the subscribe and maybe somersault kicking the notification bell and the like, I would appreciate it. And again, it's all free of charge, no matter where you're watching or listening. And I thank you for it. All right, hopefully I see you next time. Take care. Thanks again for watching the video. If you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate it if you checked out patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. That's where fans of my channel go to help support it. There are different tiers with different offerings, exclusives every month. We got multiple movie reviews. There's a vlog monthly. And even if you don't want to plop down $1 a month, you can just sign up for Patreon for free and become a member at no charge. Appreciate your time. Thanks.